Hi, welcome to English Composition. Today we're going to be talking about the basics of writing an academic paper. So first thing we want to talk about is a little bit of formatting issues. Now, the college that we teach at, PIT, uses MLA for most of its classes. So I'm going to be using MLA as a reference point. So, your first page of your paper should have your full name, instructor's name, course, and date. And you'll see that in the first arrow on the left. Second arrow is your title of the essay. And in this case, it is Andrew Carnegie, the father of middle-class America. And then finally, double space all the way through the essay. Top right, every page should include your last name and page number at the top right of every page. And it's one of those things where learning how to use headers and footers are really important in business, so you have to know how to use that. And keep in mind, no matter what job you have, you are going to have to write. So, what does an essay look like? An essay is a compilation of several different paragraphs. We have our introduction, which orients the reader, identifies the focus and purpose, outlines the scope of the paper, and states the thesis. Then the body, you have usually in a traditional academic 5-paragraph essay, you have 3 body paragraphs. The first topic, the second topic, the third topic, and then each one of those has supporting details, concluding sentences, and so on and so forth. And then finally, the conclusion is where you restate the thesis and summarize your argument. When I say restate, you're not copying and pasting. You should rephrase it in a different way. So, let's talk about writing an outline. An outline is a general plan of the material that is to be presented in a speech or a paper. The outline shows order of the various topics, importance of each, relationship between the various parts. So, you have to find those connections, because that's really what learning and writing does. It shows you connections that are not necessarily surface connections. It's a deeper analysis, a deeper understanding. So here's another version of that outline. And you can pull information from a clustering template or any, you just write stuff on a piece of paper or in the back of an envelope, and you can put a brief outline together that'll help you organize your thoughts. Our introductory paragraph is the most important paragraph in your paper. It introduces the topic, establishes a point of reference, provides context for the reader, warms the reader to the subject, meaning this is my chance to get you interested in what I'm going to talk about, and ends with the thesis statement, which is the blueprint for what the rest of the paper will discuss. It is important to plan your introductory paragraph. You want to write 3 to 5 sentences that introduce the topic to the reader. These sentences can be simple and straightforward. No specific examples should be given in the first paragraph unless it helps warm, and again, it's that grabbing the hook of this particular topic for your reader. And then the last sentence of your introductory paragraph should be your thesis statement that outlines what the paper's point is. So let's look at supporting paragraphs. These provide the ideas, examples, and details that support your main idea. So you are going to look at research information, data and facts, examples relevant to the topic. So for example, if we were talking about cultural appropriation, you could talk about all of those examples that we discussed in the assignment, including the Washington Redskins, Beyonce's video, whether or not your kids want to wear inappropriate outfits for Halloween. So, when we look at relevant examples, they have to have a direct correlation or connection to the topic. And then information you've read, watched, remember, documentary is always a good option. An analogy showing your point. For example, walking in the park, my girlfriend broke up with me and we finished our walk like coma patients. And that's not a happy image, is it? No. Coma patients are just like lumps laying in a bed, maybe drooling a little. And after you've gotten yourself broken up with, that's kind of how you feel, like you got punched in the stomach and you just want to hide for a few weeks. Or you want to get back at your love muffin and, get out there and show them they don't, what they're missing. Right? Yeah. Begin with a topic sentence which restates the point from your thesis. Next are the details and examples for your opinion. Finally, a concluding sentence ends the paragraph. So let's talk about a conclusion. This is drawing the essay to a close. You're not introducing new concepts. You summarize the points from the body paragraph, and you let the reader know that the essay is complete. Often, writing a conclusion begins with a sentence that restates or is tied to the thesis statement. So, if your thesis is about how American history and American music have a lot of parallels, you can then restate your thesis in that you cannot look at American history in the 20th century without seeing how music has influenced every level. Then you're going to move into some general sentences that review your point, whether it's Elvis Presley or modern day performance artists like Lady Gaga. There is going to be a sense of individualism that underscores the American perspective. Then you try to leave the reader thinking about the topic. Why do so many songs talk about violence? Is that also part of the American experience? An effective conclusion ties all your points together and convinces the reader that you have made your point. All right, so let's talk about plagiarism. It's going to be short and sweet. Don't do it. Using any material from another source without proper citation is just, you can't do it. Use the Grammarly.com plagiarism checker to ensure your work is truly original. I'm going to remind you of that 500 times because in today's day and age, with all the technology we have, you can't accidentally plagiarize. Also, if you need more information, the syllabus for this class discusses in detail what plagiarism is, and make sure you review that information because ignorance is not a defense under the law. So let's briefly talk about citations. And again, we have other presentations that go much deeper into the world of citations. So you want to cite the following: another person's research, data, idea, or opinion. You want to also cite another person's speech, quote, or written work. Any facts, data, or details that are not common or general knowledge. And that leads us to the question of what the heck is common knowledge? And this is basically what it says it is. This is information that is known by a lot of people and written in a wide variety of places. It is known by society. There's no need to cite it. So, for example, Hitler was the leader of the Nazi Party. Pretty much everyone knows that except for a 2-year-old. And as a consequence, that's something that doesn't need to be cited. However, if you're talking about the fact that Hitler's third in command, twice removed, had Jewish relatives, that might require a little more citation. In-text citations are used to document any external sources used within a document. Again, unless the material cited is considered general knowledge. They direct readers to the full bibliographic citation listed in the work cited, located at the end of the document. So in a sense, this is a breadcrumb. It's enough of a piece of the citation that your instructor or your reader can go to the work cited, pull up the information and go look it up to make sure it's accurate, because sometimes you do stuff and you're like, no, that's not right, and I'm going to go figure out how this person got this wrong. So here we have an example. The major criticism against recycling is cost. And this is the quote part. The simple process of sorting plastic containers for curbside pickup does not anticipate the expense of collecting, separating, and reprocessing the 7 basic types of plastics at the recycling plant. Now you might say, I don't see any quote marks, and you are right. No, instead, this is information that they got from this very nice person named Van Verst on page 53 of their works cited page information. So even if you're not quoting, you are getting information from somewhere, and you need to let the reader know where you got it. You cannot oversight and get penalized, at least in my world, because that just demonstrates to me that you're doing your level best to avoid plagiarizing. So again, what you always want to look at is how do you avoid any even whiff of plagiarism, and definitely run your essay through Grammarly. Okay, that's it for me today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email or text me. If you are watching the video but not in my class, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll respond as quickly as I can. Have a fabulous day.